Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. I do have a yoga mat. If you find yourself without one, find a place in your house that's got some carpeting. Maybe you've got a nice, sturdy, solid rug that can become your yoga mat for today. I just don't want you on anything that's going to trip you up or anything that's too hard or slick. I've got 2 yoga blocks. A great substitute would be 2 thick books. And a folded blanket, maybe that's as simple as the throw blanket from your couch. You might have a beach towel, a bath towel. Once you've got those, let's start in child's pose and let's have a little discussion about personalizing child's pose. Not for all of us does it feel great to have a deep bend in our knee. I understand. So there's a lot of ways around that. You can take your folded blanket and put it underneath your knees. That might feel great to a number of us. You can also curl your toes under, and perhaps if you take your knees a little bit wider or not as wide, that makes a difference for you. Another thing that you can do is use a block or your book as a place to reach your forehead towards, and then reach your arms a little forward. Perhaps rest your forehead on that block, but don't feel like you have to sink your hips towards your heels. That's often an instruction in child's pose. That may not be your instruction. Perhaps it's okay to come onto the tops of your feet. Maybe your body doesn't mind this deep bend in your knees. Either one is great. The advanced yoga is your ability to meet yourself where you are and to celebrate what's happening instead of think that somehow you're doing something wrong. Let's take a moment to soak in the goodness of where you are right now. Come to hands and knees, and on hands and knees, spread your hands wide. Press your arms into the ground. So let's do this together. For a moment, do what I would prefer we don't do, which is collapse your arms, your chest in between your arms. And then change that by pushing into your arms and feeling muscles called to action. That's what we want. Imagine that there's circles on your palms and that the circumference, the whole circle, is pressing into your mat. And so are the length of all of your fingers. That's going to be a nice solid base to get that oomph, that push away from the ground. Then curl your toes under and get a little sass. So let your hips go towards, as if they could, towards the corner where the ceiling and the wall meet up. Continue your oomph into your arms. And then as if a hook were taking you there, let your hips go up and back. Walk your feet as wide as your mat for this first one. It may give you a little bit more space to play with. And then as we press that whole circle on our palms here in down dog, let's let our side body, front body, and back body feel as though they lengthen. Walk your feet forward to your hands. Arrive hip distance and parallel here at the front edge of your mat. Slide your hands onto your shins. Lift your heart, inhale. Hinge, exhale. Glide, reach. Inhale, arms to the sky, a V shape. And then arms along your side, palms facing out. For a moment, take your arms in front of you, palms face each other. Make a big couple of circles of your arms away from each other. And let's do that 2 more circular times. And now let your arms float along your sides, palms facing out, but it's informed and it's at our shoulder joint. And it's not a result of us throwing our chin forward. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips and take your hands to your thighs for this first one. Use your hands against your thighs to make the longest spine you can. So we're not folding and rounding forward here. We've got something to use to really grow all the way out the crown of our head. And we'll keep that with the possibility of sliding our hands down a little bit lower, but not a preoccupation with sliding them. So once you get to that rounded place, back it up where you can find some space. And then let's inhale, rise, reach thumbs to the sky, V, and pause with our arms along our sides. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands to your thighs or shins or even towards your ankles. Inhale, glide your hands up, lift your heart, then bend your knees deeply so your palms and that full circle on both of them can get to the ground. Walk back to down dog, push the ground away actively so you're growing that length in your spine. It could be that your feet stay as wide as your mat, or let them be hip distance now. Shift to a plank, shoulders over wrists. Remember, we rehearsed this. We're not dropping into our shoulders. And then bring your knees down a bit further back than when we were on hands and knees not long ago. We're still not going to let that collapse of our chest between our arms happen. And we keep actively pushing our hands into the ground as we lower our belly all the way down as slowly as we can. Uncurl your toes and let your forearms come parallel to the long edges of your mat. Press into the tops of your feet until your kneecaps lift so you know your legs are working. Oomph into your arms, sort of like we did on our hands and knees and in that plank. And then traction your elbows towards you so we find length in our spine that is a bit like when our hands were on our thighs in our flow just now. Lower down, reposition your hands next to your ribs and see if you can't find that same traction. If it doesn't quite feel right here in Cobra, go back to forearms down. We're not letting our elbows wing out to the side, so think aerodynamically close to your body. Not pinching your body, but close. And then lower down, curl your toes under with your hands next to your ribs. In one chunk, come to all fours. And then let that hook in your tailbone take you back towards down dog once again. Walk your feet forward to your hands. We're hip distance and parallel. Slide your hands up, inhale. Glide your hands down, exhale as you fold. Then we inhale, rise, reach thumbs to the sky, a V, and we stand with our palms facing out. Let's flow that whole thing. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs or shins or ankles. Slide your hands up, inhale, bend your knees, palms are flat first, then we step back. The hook is in our tailbone for down dog. Shift shoulders over wrists and actively push the ground away in plank. Plant your kickstand of knees down. Actively, we're pushing away, but we're lowering all the way down onto our bellies, and then uncurl your toes for Cobra pose or Sphinx with your forearms down. Lower down, curl your toes under in one chunk, come to all fours, and then let the hook in your tailbone bring you to down dog. Walk your feet forward to your hands. We're hip distance and parallel. Glide your hands up, inhale, slide your hands down, exhale, and then we inhale, rise, reach thumbs to the sky, V. We'll stand into our mountain. We'll add a couple of friends to our flow. Chair pose, we sit back and down, and then hands to our thighs. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, fold, slide your hands down, bend your knees, palms go flat, and we step to down dog. Once we're in down dog, lift your right leg back behind you and step that right foot forward. Maybe you reach and grab your hamstring and help it along. Find your two books or blocks and let them frame this right foot. Let them frame your mat. Heel toe your right foot a little bit to the right. Bend your left knee, your back knee, and then we upright our torso. Arms can go wide out to the side or a V shape like we've been doing with our arms reaching. We would like to have our right hip swing back, our left hip swing forward a little bit. 3 moments here. Bring your hands maybe by way of your blocks, but ultimately to your mat and into down dog. So push the ground away, let your hips lift up and back like they're headed for that wall and ceiling corner, and then come to plank, shoulders over wrists, bring your knees down. We continue the push of the ground away, but lower all the way down onto our belly, and then uncurl your toes. Make it a cobra pose, or remember, Sphinx with your forearms down is great. Lower back down, curl your toes under in one chunk we come to all fours, and then the hook in our tailbone takes us back to down dog. In down dog, lift your left leg back behind you. Step it forward, help it along. We've got our blocks in place. You might heel toe that left foot to the left a little bit. And then bend your right knee, your back knee. So it's a little easier to upright our torso, either arms wide out to the side or a V shape. You could decide to straighten that back leg a little bit or quite a bit while we're here. 3 moments. Then hands, perhaps by way of your blocks, come back to your mat. We step to down dog. And from our down dog, walk forward, feet hip distance at the front edge of your mat. Slide your hands up, inhale. Slide your hands down, exhale. Come back to your chair pose. Sit back and down, thumbs to the sky. We'll stand it up, arms along our sides, and a pause. Chair pose is our V shape. Exhale, hands to thighs, shins, or ankles. Slide your hands up, inhale, bend your knees, palms go flat, and we step into downward facing dog. Once we're in down dog, lift your right leg, step that right foot forward and help it along. Upright your torso into our crescent pose. Then bring a prayer in front of your heart. Drop your left heel, your back heel down. Walk this right foot over to the left. Think if there was a line down the middle of your mat, that your right foot and your left arch would all be on that middle. Arms outstretch and our bodies turn towards the left for warrior 2. So quite a different arrangement in this posture from our original warrior pose just now. Feel the expanse, fingertip to fingertip. Instead of letting your right knee drop to the over to the left, let that right knee track as if it could over your pinky toe. And the same thing with your right hip. It's not swinging out behind you. We feel that hugging underneath us. 3 moments. Carefully spin on your back toes and spin your torso to face the front edge of your mat, and then hands maybe by way of your blocks come to your mat and we step to down dog. Once we're in down dog, you could return to child's pose if you'd like, or join me as we come to plank. Bring your knees to your mat, lower slowly all the way down onto your belly. Uncurl your toes into either cobra pose or sphinx pose. Lower back down, curl your toes under in one chunk to all fours and then into down dog. Our hips lead the way. Left leg lifts, and then we step our left foot forward and help it along. We'll upright our torso in our crescent lunge, and then hands in a prayer, and we carefully walk our left foot over to the right, dropping our back heel, our right heel down, and widening our arms. Another thing we just want to be careful of is that there's a vertical line from our left knee to our left ankle, that we've got a little bit of oomph in our back leg. So right thigh bone is pressing into the hamstring as our body's open towards that long edge of our mat. Thumbs to the sky as you reach your arms wide. Remember, we're not letting that left hip swing out. We're encouraging it to hug underneath us, and left thigh bone is encouraged to move towards the left as well. 3 moments here. Careful with this dismount. Spin on your right toes. Turn your torso to face that short edge of your mat. Hands come to your blocks or to the ground. We step it into downward facing dog. And then walk your feet forward to your hands. We're hip distance and parallel. Glide your hands up, inhale. Slide them down, exhale. Make it chair pose. Sit back and down, V-shape your arms, and then we stand it up and pause here in our mountain pose. We'll continue our flow, and our flow is going to grow. Chair pose, and then hands to your thighs or shins or ankles. Slide your hands up, inhale, palms flat. Remember the circles on your palms. Step back to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg behind you and step it forward into your crescent lunge. Hands in a prayer, we drop our back heel and walk that right foot over to the left in our warrior two. This time, right forearm across your thigh, left arm up to the sky. You might take your block on the outside of your right foot, and then the other option is to take the back of your left hand to the small of your back if you'd like to. Let's think of inhaling and growing long, and then exhaling and turning our bodies towards the left a little bit here. 3 moments. Our exit is different on this side. Spin on your back toes and step yourself into a down dog from where we've been. Either stay here or come into your plank. Carefully place your knees down, lower your belly onto your mat. Uncurl your toes into either a Sphinx or a Cobra pose. Lower down, curl your toes under. In one chunk, we come to all fours, and then it's down dog. Lift your left leg behind you. Step it into your crescent. From crescent, hands in a prayer, drop your back heel. Walk that left foot over to the right. It's warrior two. Warrior two, either left forearm across your thigh or left hand can go on your block on the outside of that left foot. Either right arm up to the sky or back of your right hand to the small of your back if that feels better to you. And we're encouraging that feeling of left thigh moving towards that left side of your mat, left hip hugging underneath you as if it was headed to the right side. And we have 2 moments here. Spin onto your back toes. Bring your hands to your mat. Step it into down dog. From our down dog, walk your feet forward to your hands. Lift your heart, inhale. Fold in as we exhale. Make it a chair pose. And then stand up into your mountain. Our flow will grow one more time. Chair pose. Exhale, hands to your thighs, shins, or ankles. Slide your hands up, bend your knees, palms flat. We step to down dog. Lift your right leg and step yourself into crescent. From crescent pose, hands into a prayer, drop your back heel, walk that right foot over to the left. And then it's side angle with either our forearm across our thigh or right hand on your block. Left arm up to the sky. This time, bring yourself upright. Warrior two, and then just think of leaning a little bit. Maybe your left hand goes very lightly on your left leg with your right arm up to the sky. And while we're here, slowly straighten that right leg. Hinge at your right hip. So this is not me side bending into triangle. There's a karate chop into my right hip, and we reach for that block. It's a long reach, and our left arm can stay to the sky or weave behind our back if that's preferred. 3 moments here in our triangle pose. If you have your arm behind your back, extend your left arm to the sky, look down, bend your right knee, spin on your left toes, bring both of your hands to your mat for down dog. Feel free to bring your knees down and do the child's pose that we all started with, or into plank we go. Keep pushing the ground away as you bring your knees down and then lower to your belly, slow flow. Uncurl your toes, come into a cobra or sphinx pose. Lower down. Curl your toes under, come through all fours. And then the hook in our tailbone takes us to down dog, where our left leg lifts. We'll step it through, upright our bodies in crescent pose. Hands in a prayer, drop your back heel, step that left foot over to the right, arms extend wide. Left forearm across your thigh or left hand likely on that block. Right arm up to the sky in our side angle. And then upright your torso, thumbs to the sky. We're in Warrior Two. Very light as a feather. Right hand on your right thigh. Left arm up to the sky. And then we straighten that left leg. And we hinge at our left hip, reaching way out. Our block is waiting for us underneath our left hand. Right arm can stay up to the sky, or you can weave that right arm behind your back. And then we soak for a few moments here. Now carefully look down, bend that left knee, spin on your back toes. Take your hands to your mat in a downward facing dog. Come to plank position, bring your knees to your mat, gently lower all the way down. Once you're on your belly, uncurl your toes. Interlace your hands behind your back. Drag those knuckles back behind you. Press into the tops of your feet till your kneecaps lift. Opt to stay here, or maybe lengthen and lift your legs. 3 moments. Release it down. Place your hands next to your ribs. Curl your toes under. In one chunk, we come through all 4s. And then we'll make our way to down dog. In down dog, lift your right leg behind you and then step it through into a low lunge. So you might need to help it along like we've done. We lower our back knee, our left knee. Take one of your blocks and sit your right sit bone onto that block. This is a great place to stay, or at least to start, but you also may end up staying here. Our right knee is bent. Our left leg can step back, can kind of wiggle back towards straight, almost like that back leg in our crescent lunge. And then you might walk yourself forward a little bit. There's a lot of stretching going on here. There's a hip stretch in our right front hip. And then a bit of a stretch on the front of our back leg. Am I right? We'll snuggle in and stay here. And get really quiet. Lean a bit to your right. We're back to our side saddle feel. And then carefully dismount your block. Put it off the side of your mat and make your way into down dog from where we are. Lift your left leg. Step that left foot forward, help it along. We lower our back knee. We'll trot our other block into the mix. Put that underneath our left sit bone. Be content here. This is great. I want you to be cautious of this left knee. There's also a big stretch going on in our right front of our right thigh. You can turn your body a little bit so that if you had flashlights on your hip bones, it's almost like they're both facing that short edge of your mat. But mostly listen to the feedback that your body's giving you. You're getting a bit of a hip stretch in this left side, and definitely another kind of hip stretch, but a hip flexor front of your right thigh. And then maybe your hands walk forward, any place that you can hang out for a moment, feel all the feels for 45 seconds of silence. Super quiet. Lean it to your left. Bend your right knee. Come off of your perch and into a seated position with your legs straight out in front of you, or as straight as they agree to. It's a great time to sit on your folded blanket. Give yourself a little bit of extra height. Also, a little bend in your knees so that this doesn't become a rounding forward fold. We find our hip hinge. Blocks can be very helpful in that. And then you might straighten your legs a little bit or quite a bit. There will be a sweet spot where you feel the stretch. And let's continue our journey into some silence. Bring yourself up out of your forward fold. Bend your knees. Lie down onto your back. Hips scoot to the right. Your knees will drop to the left. You could cross your right knee over your left knee if you'd like for a twist. And then we come back through center and we'll scoot our hips towards the left. Let our knees drop to the right. Opposite, left knee might cross on top. And then bring yourself down the middle. Shimmy your shoulder blades underneath you. Either keep your knees bent or straighten one leg and then the other leg. Your feet will flop open. You can close, even cover your eyes or cover your body, but this is our rest and digest. Shavasana, final meditation. You're welcome to stay here in your Shavasana final meditation for as long as you would like. If you're ready, give yourself a stretch. Collect your knees into your chest and roll to your side. We'll come up to any comfortable way to sit. That might be cross-legged. It might be perched on one of your props. Just give yourself a moment to feel what you've done. We did a lot of flow on our mat. I hope that helps you go with the flow off your mat as well. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I look forward to us doing this again together soon.